probably not a ton of fun watching tape of Akiem Hicks. I mean, he's kind of one of those guys that just is one of those for you guys is
a task. Yeah, a task in short. I mean, he is tall, long, extremely strong, extremely powerful. That pretty much sums up the last time I remember playing him too. It's just I remember getting a big swap move. I think it was like play 2 of the preseason in like 2018 or something, going against him. But yeah, just huge, strong, powerful guy. You really gotta be on your stuff when you play him because he's also relentless, as you can see. I mean, he plays through the whistle. And it's gonna be a fight for sure.
How did that whole first game feel for you?
How'd it feel? Well, it felt fine. Definitely some stuff I was like, I definitely want to do better than that. You know what I mean? But feeling wise was as far as the knee goes and everything, it felt fine. Felt good.
Is there any way it looked like how the struggles you had were towards the end of the game, especially the stats? I think they were both in the fourth quarter towards the end. Is that like a thing of maybe not having a game condition because it's just hard to kind of get that sense back unless you're playing? I mean, how much of that is?
No, I would blame a lot of my mess ups in the game on just technique, just getting away from my technique and just abandoning some stuff that I really know better than to do, and I just got away from it in a couple spots, I would say.
It's tough when they got a guy man up Obi, obviously. Mm-hmm. But they didn't use that very. I don't think they don't do that very much at all. They take time to adjust to it too. If they got a guy like Obi
ahead of nose. I mean, it's something that you see over the course of the year a lot, and our defense gave it to us a lot throughout camp, just playing a lot of jam fronts and things like that. Maybe not exactly what we expected them to premiere in, but it is what it is, and you got to block it. You got to do a good job. You just got to do better.
You always spoke highly of Andy Dalton. Is it wild to you at all that this team's facing him again on a different team? And what's that gonna be?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I'm excited to compete against him. I'm excited to see him, speak to him after the game. But it's wild. I wouldn't have thought when I first got to the Bengals that I would ever see the day where I'm going against Andy Dalton, but it's pretty exciting.
What made him in your mind, pretty solid quarterback and led the franchise? What was some of his qualities?
I thought Andy was a great leader, and I thought he made good decisions, and I thought he inspired the guys around him to play better and to play up to their standard. I thought he had a level of intelligence that really helped everybody that played with him as well, because when I first got thrown in there at center, I wouldn't say I was spot on with a lot of communication and protection, but I know Andy would a lot of times adjust me and get me right. And throughout the course of playing with him over a year, then you start learning and picking up more and more. But he's just a very intelligent guy and a great leader.
The two quarterbacks you had, Joe and Andy,
I've had some good ones.
I can't imagine there are any smarter ones in the room.
No, I wouldn't say so. Not that I've seen.
How do you feel the offensive line as a whole?
I thought pretty well. Definitely some things to improve upon, but I thought it was a great start. Watching the film, we were proud of what we saw in the run game at spurts, especially towards the end. But then also seeing it was just like we left a lot of yards out there, just cleaning up basic stuff, just basic combinations, and like I said, a lot of technique things that just got away from us in the game that left a lot of yards out there. If we could have just cleaned up some things here and there.
Is that a good feeling though, knowing that the fixes seem to be pretty simple? They're not kind of major?
Sure. But I mean, you don't want to get into the habit of being like, well, at least it's an easy fix, because then it'll be week 7 and you'll be saying the same thing. So you don't want to be too easy on yourself with that kind of stuff. If it's an easy fix, you want to get it fixed fast.
Did you feel like you guys kind of wore down the Vikings up front? I mean, it seemed like the runs that were maybe 3 yards early in the game were going for 5, 6, or 7 and hitting cutbacks. Did you feel like you guys kind of did that maybe more than you even expected you'd be able to?
Sure, and I think that's the run game in general. That's what you want to do in a run game. You want to be able to have efficient enough runs so that you can commit to it and you don't have to get out of it and just go to straight drop back a lot of the times. And we were in that position where we were able to do so. The defense kept us in a close game the whole time, so we were able to do that. We didn't have to get into a shootout. So it was just a lot of things that really allowed us to stay committed to the run game. And anytime you can do that, of course, wearing down defenses happens, and that's what you want. That's what you look for.
How different did that feel compared to last. I mean, he only throws it 27 times, right? I mean, you're talking about him throwing 47 times last year.
Mm-hmm.
How different is that? Was that for you personally out there?
I mean, it's a great feeling. That's what you want as offensive lineman. As many runs as you can get dialed up. That's what you want. I'm all here for it.
You saw what obviously the crowd did to the Minnesota offensive line, at least in their first series. How cognizant are you guys of what you're going to be going into in Chicago, where they're going to have full capacity for
Right.
2 years?
We're very cognizant of that. Home opener, I mean, like you said, it was very loud here. We know it's going to be extremely loud up in Chicago. And you really just have to be dialed in and focused on the snap count, the cadence. You have to, like Coach says, take every word off the quarterback's lips. Like, you have to really be dialed in, have your utmost focus in times like that. Because it's going to be loud, it's going to be a lot of distractions, and we all got to be on the same page.
Are you and Joe going to do anything differently in terms of maybe just you two getting some extra reps to make sure that you're off and the PSTs, the silent count, all of that is squared away?
I don't think there will be any extra reps just between me and Joe, because I mean, as much as important as it is for me and Joe to be on the same page, it's just as important, if not more so, for the tackles. You know, the guards and the tackles to be on the same page. So the whole offense will be repping a lot of extra stuff. And like you said, in case we have to get to a silent cadence or change anything up, as far as that goes. But it won't be anything that's just a secret between me and Joe. It'll definitely be something that involves everybody.
So you guys haven't gone, I mean, you've never gone silent cage with Joe, right?
With Joe, no, I haven't.
Right.
I'm not.
So is that, I mean, how do you simulate that?
In practice, the same way. I mean, when Andy was a quarterback here, I had never done it until I had to do it at practice. I mean, it's something that just gets simulated through the speakers out at the practice field. We have the crowd noise machine. Obviously, that's not the same, but you know, just to get used to the mechanics of having to do head bobs or whatever you want to do. So that's pretty much how you simulate it, and all the same team situations you would have in normal practice. Just make it on solid cadence.
What's your perspective on how Jackson performed in the last week?
I think he's done a great job. I think he's shown steady improvement, and I would just encourage him to just keep going with it, keep grinding the way he is, and he'll keep seeing the benefits of it.
Have you talked to him at all, just giving some tips and pointers here and there as he's getting adjusted to the league?
For sure, him and all the rookies. I mean, we're all in the same line room. There's no secrets now. We're all working towards the same goal. So any bits of wisdom that not only myself but everybody else might have, it's definitely being shared, and I think they're using it. I think it's helping them.
What's the biggest thing you shared?
With Jackson, breathe. I know when you first get in and you want to do well, a lot of things happen in your head, and a lot of stuff starts flying around, maybe a lot faster than it actually needs to. And at the end of the day, you have to breathe and settle and remember, I'm here because I have the talent to be here. And he is definitely a guy that is talented enough to be here and talented enough to play and to do some great things. And sometimes it's not as much as you don't know what to do. It's just that you're just hyping it up a little bit too much in your head to do it. So that was my biggest point of advice to him. Not only just him, any rookie, really.
How much of a difference with Trey is it between shotgun snap and a snap on the center? I mean, I guess it just doesn't matter to you.
I guess I wouldn't know how to say there's a difference. I mean, the biggest difference is you're applying pressure to pressure when it's under center, and when it's in the gun, you're just throwing it between your legs. Basically, it's not really something you think about after so many snaps of it. So
Yeah, I mean, I guess obviously you can't forget. That's the key thing. It's not to get
no, it's not something that's hard to remember. It's just be consistent with it, and a lot of times the thing is, don't let your blocking assignment change to where you're snapping it at, because that's another big thing at center. Is just you're like, okay, I need to get my body 3 feet over here really fast. How can I do that without swinging the ball way out to the right? So it's just getting consistent with your landing point of your wrist and things like that.
And that's the motion on even on the center. I mean, how about in the last couple of years compared?
I don't know. I wouldn't know how to compare in the last couple of years, to be honest.
You guys know that Joe's going to take hits. That's what being a quarterback in this league is. What kind of goes through your head when the one where he was down and kind of hobbled up a little bit? What's that like on the field and seeing that?
Terrifying. Just like, oh no. Just like, you hate to see that. Hate it, especially for Joe. Just, I mean, knowing what it's like having to come back from an ACL and and what you have to push through to even just be on the field right now. You're just like, no, never. You never want to see that, especially not to Joe.
Just a couple more minutes, please.
You kind of on the other side of that. He does keep going, gets on the bike, and comes back out. The relief is probably just as strong as
For sure. But it's terrifying. It's definitely someone got to eliminate. For sure.
Did you tell you how you came to the sideline and jumped on the bike?
No, not when he got off the bike. I was over there talking to coach, making adjustments and things like that. But just on the field as he's getting up, are you okay? Are you sure you need to stay down? Be assured us that he was okay, and he's gonna shake it off.
You won't be matched up against Khalil Mack, but obviously it's a huge focus for the offensive line. Of his many great qualities that makes him a perennial Pro Bowler. What stands out to you?
I would say just like the rest of the defensive line, they're all explosive. They're all very quick, very strong guys. That's what I would say. So.
Joe said that you felt sore right after the game, but then feeling like now. How did you experience some of that soreness too? Just
yeah, it was definitely a good bit of soreness following it, but it wasn't anything that I wasn't expecting. Just talking to the docs and everybody's like, anytime you do something a little bit different, which a full game was different for my knee. They said to expect some swelling, expect some soreness, and it should recover, and then we'll go on from there. And it did, and it has. So.
Just a couple more.
Physically, you held up fine.
Yep.
With the number of times that they put a guy right in front of you, did you feel like they were testing you a little bit coming back from injury?
No, I feel like it's a basic defensive front that they had shown. Maybe not what we expected, but it is what it is, and it'll happen again this year. It'll happen, I'm sure, several more times this year. So just got to be prepared for it and just got to play it well.